Selecting the right partner. In this video, Reverend Dr. Dickie Joe Mullen discusses the astrological charts of the two individuals looking for compatibility and perhaps characteristics that may be compatible or may cause strain within the relationship.
This is astrologer and parapsychologist Reverend Dr. Dickie Joe Mullen in downtown Orlando, Florida, talking about the other half in your horoscope, the partner. The right partner in life, how we interact with people, whether it's business or a personal partnership, can make or break our happiness, if not our entire lives. And astrology offers profound insights into understanding the role of partners in your life. A way to look at partnerships without going into the netherlands of astrology is just to think of your own familiar birth chart. That's the astrology chart that everybody knows, or the birth sign, if you read your horoscope in the newspaper, which, by the way, is one of the most popular features in every publication, the daily horoscope. So, it's said that well over 90% of us know our familiar birth signs. Look at that, and then look at the sign directly across from it. You can count ahead, or if you have a wheel of astrology signs, just look across the wheel to the sign exactly opposite, and that will give you profound insights. If you are an Aries, your other half is Libra. This is saying that you need balance. You have to realize that everything is shared, and you use your ability to help others as well as yourself, and that will draw in the ideal partnership. Taurus, Scorpio traits are the other half, and this is saying that you have to release all those things you've been hoarding and give something of yourself to others, and then you'll get back what you most need. By the way, our new First Lady, Melania Trump, is a Taurus, and her other half would be Scorpio traits. Now, that isn't President Trump's birth sign. He's a Gemini, but the traits of that partnership would relate to Scorpio, just as a little aside, a little bit of personal research. And Gemini, the other half, is Sagittarius. This is indicating there can be a draw toward those who come from a different ethnic or cultural background, perhaps a different country. And there also is a lot of interest in focusing on deep thinking, philosophy, religion, instead of jumping from thought to thought and going over the surface of things. With Cancer, your other half is Capricorn, and that means that you want to focus on putting some of your partner's emotions and feelings into your own feelings, and the thought of advancing together towards steady and well-worthy goals. Leo, Aquarius is the sign across from you, and this means that friendship, dare I say politics, and altruistic interests would be positive. Also, technology and progressive thoughts. Virgo, your other half is Pisces, becoming more whimsical, dreamy, more tolerant, less critical, and creative will draw the right partnership to you. Libra, we're halfway around now, and it reflects Aries is your other half, deciding things, not being so wishy-washy, being more athletic, more assertive, will draw the right partnership to you. Scorpios, with Taurus as your other half, working with the land, ecology, nature, and holding on to what's worthwhile, also working for stability. Sagittarians, Gemini is across from you. It's the other half. Versatility, discussion, duality, remembering they're both sides of every story, lightening up, keeping a sense of humor, learning when to let go and not to be so competitive. Capricorn, Cancer is your other half. You want to look towards someone who is sentimental, family members, family-making compatibility, and anything to do with working around domestic matters, real estate, home, or housing is good with your partnership situation. Leo, your other half is Aquarius, your other half is Leo. Pride in the self, bohemian individuality, accenting the personality, being warm, dramatic, colorful, letting your heart show will draw the right partnership to you. Pisces, Virgo is your other half. A willingness to work and serve, a focus on discrimination and details, and positive criticism. If you know a little bit more about your birth chart, look at your ascendant or rising sign, and the sign across from that is what's called your descendant, or the 7th house cusp, and that describes the role of partnerships in greater detail. If you know even a little bit more about your birth chart, look at any placements in the 7th house. If the 7th house of relationships is empty in your birth chart, look at the sign ruling the cusp. For example, if you have Aquarius rising, then Leo would be on the 7th house cusp. You would look at where the sun is in your birth chart. An empty 7th house doesn't mean you won't have a partner, but it means you have free will and a life outside of a marriage or business partnership or whatever type of partnership you might be involved in. If you have the sun in the 7th house, you have a deep awareness and recognition of others and might become one with your partner. The marriage or other partnership is extremely important. Remember, the sun is always the single most important point in the birth chart. It shows the life force and where we shine. The planet Mercury, partnerships revolve around information and ideas. The moon in the 7th house is responsive to others and reflective. Venus in the 7th house, there's constant evaluating, putting love and care into the partnership. Mars in the 7th, you're at war with your partner. These love-hate relationships, Wuthering Heights, Catherine and Heathcliff, favorite novel of mine. That describes Mars in the 7th. Mars is accidentally debilitated. That means it's poorly placed in the 7th house, but a lot of very intense, deep relationships develop. Jupiter in the 7th house, you profit through partners. Might marry someone very beneficial or positive in other ways, or well-to-do, or there could be some sort of legacy or payment coming in. Jupiter is said to be well placed in the 7th. Saturn in the 7th, a lot of hard work. There might be caregiving, effort, but relationships are very binding if one is born with Saturn in the 7th house. Uranus in the 7th house, it's all about freedom and love at first sight, repenting at leisure, marry in haste, repent at leisure. I have never seen someone who is past the age of the Saturn return, 29, 30, with Uranus in the 7th, who hasn't been divorced at least once. I suppose there are always exceptions to every rule, but that's one of the most divorce-prone placements, is to have Uranus in the natal 7th house. When I work with my clients, I usually can impress them. I try to do that so you have fun with your readings by saying, oh, you've been divorced already, just looking at them. And that's a very easy way. So student astrologers out there, that's an easy thing to remember. Neptune in the 7th house, be careful. You might marry someone very spiritual, artistic, talented, religious, a dancer, if you're lucky, but usually there's an addiction in the partnership. So if the person is showing any sign of drinking a little bit too much, or worse, different substances, be careful. It might be better to be alone than with the wrong one. So go slowly and look for someone at an ashram or religious retreat, or some sort of a creative center if you have Neptune there. Pluto in the 7th house is very transformative. Pluto, remember, is a higher octave of Mars. It's not quite as intense, but it's a lot of love, hate, transforming, power struggles within the relationship. You can become a different person if you have Pluto in the 7th and get involved in a close partnership. The flip side of this is watch out for someone who's not on the right side of the law. If you're very attracted to individuals that are sort of life on the edge types and have Pluto in the 7th, just look a little bit before you leap. This is astrologer Dickie Jo Mullen wishing you happy relationships made in heaven.